Hi guys, welcome back to another video of the conversion of a Caddy. I think it's vlog number 6. In today's video I was planning to tie up a few loose ends, a few jobs that I've started but I've never actually finished. So I'll just show you what I mean. Over here where I've removed the bulkhead, it's just open a bit gap, and I was planning to just put some carpet and tuck it as neat as I could. Something like that maybe. Obviously I tried to do it neater. There you go. Maybe something like that. So that was the plan. I planned to do this today, and I have a wire over here. That's the wire for the fan, which I've connected. Well, I've installed a few weeks ago. I've just never actually connected to the fuse box. It's like a 2-minute job. I've just never got around doing it. It was the same with the kitchen front that I started last week. As you know, I had in mind to just sand all the edges, get the doors sand them, maybe attach them with the hinges. I was not sure if I'm going to paint this or stain it, but we came across a really nice wallpaper that's like a pallet wood effect. So obviously I do like the pallet wood effect, but I didn't want to put actual plywood, pallet wood, because it's just going to be too heavy. But we might go with the wallpaper if it looks nice, and if I don't like it, I can always paint over. So yeah, I had in mind to finish off the carpet and the wire down there. However, I'm very good at starting jobs and never actually finishing them. So to stay true to myself, I'm gonna ignore all these little jobs, and I'm gonna start on the kitchen unit for the sink. And I'm just going to show you what I mean by that. So next to our LPG bottle, I'm planning on putting a small sink, obviously with the wastewater and the fresh water somewhere here. I haven't decided how I'm going to do it yet. I'll just show you the sink. So that's the sink that we're going to be putting. It was a very cheap sink. It was like a £15 off eBay. So it's just a half a bowl undermount sink, and I'm thinking of installing it somewhere here. I'm going to work on the kitchen today, but first things first, the step into the van, I'm going to have to level with my plywood floor. I'm going to raise that flush with the floor, so I can use that as a bit of extra floor space, and obviously to support the 2 bottles. So I'm going to start with that, and then just going to work onto the kitchen and see how we get on. To raise this step, I'm just going to start with ripping some of this timber to the length that I need. There'll be 3 of them, 1 in each corner, 1 in the middle, and after that I'll put 18mm ply on top. There is a bit of a crease on the vinyl there, but this is where it was just, I put it on a few weeks ago and I've never bothered to raise this up, but I hope that that's going to disappear over time. So if I peel it back, I'll just show you how I've done it. So it's a bit of using this 18mm plywood, and these are just the 2 doors from the last week that I've messed up from the kitchen front. They seem to fit perfectly. I didn't have to cut them, which is good. And then underneath that, I just rest the plywood on that plastic here, on that lip on here, which just happened to be the same height as this wood, and I'm leaving a little bit of a groove behind there just to run some cables if I have to. And that's just like that. There you go, like that. Same over here. But yeah, I'm chuffed with that, so I'm just going to assemble that. I'll put a couple of screws in there, and I'll probably just Sikaflex it to the plastic. So I just installed the step, I leveled up the floor, I used some 18mm plywood and some like spare timber I had. I used loads of Sikaflex on here to give it a nice bond with the floor. I didn't want to drill in there. And same as over here on that plastic lip, Sikaflex that as well. So once that's dry, I'm just gonna glue the floor here. I might remove this actually. Don't think I need this bubble wrap. So that's the floor level. Just this cable I'm gonna deal with later. So I just found out that last week's door that I cut over here, this is my second attempt. The first one I messed up. The door from here is big enough to give me the side for my sink unit, which is good because I was able to reuse the small doors as well to level the floor over there. So it's good because I ended up reusing most of the wood and I didn't waste that much at all. So now I'm gonna get on and I'm gonna cut the side of the sink unit. I cut these little supports which I'm gonna screw from that side just to provide some support to that side of the sink unit. One at the top, one at the bottom, and then there's gonna be a door opening either that way or that way. Doesn't really matter. So then the sink is gonna go just on top here, and we'll see how far we're gonna get with the build. Probably gonna leave the door for some other time. Might work on the worktop instead. I'm just gonna start by drilling some pilot holes in the wood so I don't split it. Probably move up here, it's actually a bit easier. Sink's not going anywhere. It's quite nice and neat. What I might do, I'm just gonna pencil this a little bit and maybe take it out just so it's flush. Or probably wouldn't even bother. By the time I put the top, you would never be able to tell. Yeah, I'm well pleased with that. So the tap's going to be probably somewhere here or potentially in this corner. If I put the tap here, I'm just worried that we're going to catch it by going in and out. So I might have to put it somewhere here. The only thing I'm worried about if I put it in the middle is that because I have this filling point for the LPG, if I put the tap here, I'm not sure if it'd be easy to access this. So I'm gonna have to go and maybe test it before I do everything else. I don't know if I said earlier, but I'm quite good at starting a job, leaving it and starting a new job before I finish the old one. So before I finish the sink, I think I'm gonna jump over and try to do this side on this unit, because before I'm able to finish the sink unit and the kitchen worktop, I think I'm gonna have to work on this side, get that in place, and then that's gonna determine where I start my kitchen worktop. But once I have this side, that means I plan to put my thermostat somewhere here for the Propex heater, and all the USB and all the electrical stuff just up here somewhere, so I can charge my phone and just pop on a little shelf overnight. And also there's going to be a little hole in that board as well for the pipe, for the LPG pipe that's going to connect to our cooker. So yeah, I think I'm just going to leave the sink unit for a minute. I'm just going to cut this side for the storage cupboard. So for this side I'm going to use wood that was here originally. When I bought the Caddy, it belonged to a carpenter, so he had like this custom built rack, so I was able to use quite a lot of the wood that he used. So this is one of the boards that he had, and I'm about to use it for this side over here. Hope it's big enough. It's just the width that I'm not sure if it's gonna be wide enough. So I need, at the widest point, I need 35.5 centimeters. And I'm just gonna check this board. So this board is, it's 36. So I literally need to take 0.5 centimeter probably from that edge, and that should be plain. So what I'll do is I'll give it a nice straight edge off here and work with the rest. So I cut that, let's see if it fits. So I'm just gonna see if it fits. Obviously it wouldn't, but I can trim it. All these curves in the van are so tricky to do. That's actually the first major curve that I need to cut. So I'm not really sure what's the best way to do it. Be a trial and error. Actually, I remember I saw a little trick on YouTube that I might actually have to give a go. So I remember I saw on YouTube a while ago a way of cutting the curves of the van. So I saw this guy, and I can't remember whose channel it was, but he drew the little hole on the piece of scrap wood to put a pencil in. So once your pencil's in place and you know it's not going to move, you just take the wood and you run it across the wall, so obviously that follows the curve, and that obviously leaves the trail of where you have to cut. Now I know I need to cut only 0.5 centimeter from the beginning, so that's where I'm going to start. So I'm not going to drill a hole, I'm just going to hold the pencil and hope for the best. in the bottom. I think it's a little bit too long. I don't know if I push it, probably gonna. Okay, actually that just went right in. Oh, I forgot about. Yeah, I forgot about this bit actually. I'm gonna have to add another piece of wood there or something. Oh no. Once I put the work surface on top, that will come up to here. So yeah, I don't have to worry about that bit actually. Okay, so next job would be to mark out my USBs and the sockets here. I'll cut them out. Possibly the voltmeter as well, which I've not decided where to put the voltmeter actually. It might be just right on the top here, but we'll see. I'll start with the USBs first. I'll cut them out and then we'll see what the next job's gonna be. So I went to grab my the USB panels that I have, and for some reason I thought I'm gonna have to cut a square hole in the board so that fits flush, but I just realized that all I have to do is take these out, put the plate on top of the wood, just cut 4 holes, which is actually much easier. The other thing that I have to fit though, this comes in with a USB socket, so you have 2 USBs. It comes with a switch, cigarette lighter, 12-volt cigarette lighter, and over here normally you have the voltmeter, but I didn't like the voltmeter because I think it stays on all the time, so it's going to be quite irritating at night. So what I did is I bought a separate USB and I replaced the voltmeter, and instead of the voltmeter they supply, I'm planning on fitting a different battery monitor basically, just so I know what my ledger battery is at. And I bought a different one which does sit flush, so I need to cut a square hole somewhere in here. But the only thing with this voltmeter is I'm not sure if I'm going to stay with this one, because this one is kind of cheap. It's only a cheap one, and if I cut a square hole to fit and then I change my mind and I take it out, the new one might not fit in that hole, so I'm not really sure. I'll have to patch the hole, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do about this yet, but I'm going to carry on and cut the 4 holes for this and I'll fit that. So that's just going to be somewhere here maybe. Yeah, up here, because the wires from the back of it, they're not going to get in my way if they're just up here, whereas if I put it down here, the wires are just going to get in the way unless I cover them, but then I'll just lose more space. Okay, so I've marked where I want it, so I'm just going to drill these 2 and these 2. So I've got the 25mm drill bit, which I think is just about enough, and the next one up is 32 that I've got, and it's too big, so I'm gonna have to go with this one. It's that raining, so I quickly put the tools away. The holes for the USBs are not big enough with the 25. I think it's about 27mm drill bit that I've got. That one's missing and I don't have that one, so I'm having to file the holes by hand a little bit, but it's raining, so I've just set myself over there under the porch, and I don't really want to file it in the van because it's just gonna be so messy. So I'm just gonna, I've done 2, I've got 2 more to go, and I'll show you what I've done now. So I just had to file the holes a little bit bigger so the USBs can fit. They fit now, but let's just hope that they're lined up properly as well. One in, two, light switch, and that's just a 12-volt cigarette lighter. I don't like this switch though. So I have these rings that I can use to tighten all these. So I can just, there you go, tighten this up, and that's just gonna stay in there, so it's not gonna come out. However, the one on the switch is so short, it doesn't stick out far enough to be able to put that ring on there. I doubt it will come out. I'm just would prefer if I knew it's secure, but it is what it is. So the weather just took a turn for the worst. You can probably hear it's raining, it's windy, it's just miserable. So I think I'm gonna call it a day. It's a shame I couldn't. Yeah, it's raining. Shame I couldn't do that last cut that I wanted to do today. But overall, I think like we're doing a good progress, and I think the van's gonna be done before New Year's Eve, or we plan to do our first sleeping in the van before New Year's Eve. So I'm just gonna show you where we are up to, what we're up to. I think I've got about 3 cuts to do. I need to cut a door for underneath the sink. I need to cut a worktop over there, and just one more side for that cabinet, just like that side here, but over there. So that's the 3 major cuts that I need to do. I've obviously got the 3 doors here and this big door, so that's 4. I've already got these cut. All I need to do is just go over, sand all the edges, and oh yeah, and this one here for the table, which I'm gonna have to reinforce actually. Just get this out of the way. I'm gonna have to reinforce a bit because there's a bit of a flex over there, so I'm just gonna have to reinforce that. But by the time I screw it all together, I think it's gonna be good enough. This is the portable stove that we're gonna be using. I just brought it out here I just took it out from the house just to see. Probably it's not going to stay here. When we might keep it in here somewhere, maybe upright against the wall to save space, and when we do need it we can always put it over here on the kitchen surface and cook. That was the idea for the placing the fan so close to that side, so if it's cold outside when we boil stuff, just obviously all the vapor and all the steam can just go outside through the roof and